We always start our videos with and we said we were not going to start our videos like that anymore because
we removed the hands, which I think is
really
we
removed
important.
The hands.
Yes,
right.
No, I had feedback from a dear person in my life who
right.
just said, "Listen, when you do the hand thing, you really signify the girly thing, which the male audience kind of goes, But I think of really." Like, that was okay, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that scares the boys away.
But this topic might scare the boys away.
Yeah, actually, if you're a boy, get off now.
That's your topic. Yeah. This topic.
It's not for you.
But why is it? Okay, let me ask you this, because this is an interesting angle. We're talking about body issues, like female body issues, because why don't men typically have body issues?
And they don't.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't. Well, so the answer that I have that's the scientific answer to this is the research shows that when men are looking at attractiveness to women, that men's brains are wired to find a baby-making machine, to find fertility, to find somebody who can pass on.
So it's like subconscious.
Subconsciously, they're drawn to somebody who has good genes, who looks like they would have babies well and easily.
Right.
Someone who's youthful and can be a mom. Okay,
right.
That's what they're drawn to. So they're drawn more to those physical characteristics.
Gotcha.
Whereas women are more drawn to like, oh, he's cute. Okay, does he have a job? Is he stable?
Am I going to be taking care of him?
Yeah, does he drive a car that he owns that's in his name that I don't have to pay for? Because we're looking for stability.
Right.
Women are looking for stability because we know we're going to be pregnant for 9 months and then we might be out of work for 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks or 6 months. And can you take care of me when I have that baby for you type thing? So that's actually where it originates from. And then it went to hell in a handbasket where the guys were just like, hey, I have money in my pocket, so I don't even have to brush my teeth. Right? And then we were like, oh my God, I don't have any.
Not really.
Right? And then we went to the extreme of like, oh my God, I have to be perfect. I have to have fake everything and like alter everything and be thin and be at the gym 6 days a week. Otherwise, you're not even going to look at me because I have to be this big with these eyes and these lips and these boobs. And otherwise, I'm not going to be picked because everybody else is thin and fit and gorgeous and long hair and hair extensions. I mean, look at all the crap we put on ourselves and in our eyelashes. If you go to any plaza, I was at a plaza the other day, there was a lash salon, there was a hair salon, there was a nail salon, right?
There was probably a place doing Botox.
Probably.
Right.
And there was a gym.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's filled with women, right? The lashes are for women, the nails are for women, the makeup place, and the gym has men too.
Right.
But, we do a lot to make ourselves look appealing.
We have a lot of maintenance going on.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and I've never seen myself as someone who has body issues, but I have noticed, especially, once I left CBS 12, I kept telling everyone, I'm like, I am going to be so thin once I get sleep. Right. Like, it's just, like, I'm just going to be so thin.
Right. It's going to be falling off of me.
It's going to be falling off of me.
I'm going to be worried about myself.
And the opposite happened. So I gained a ton of weight when I left CBS 12.
So interesting, because I would have thought the opposite as well.
Well, I think because I had a lot of anxiety. I was probably drinking more wine. I was probably like, and I do.
More time to eat.
More time to eat. And I am a emotional eater.
Sure, me too.
And so, I mean, I was still working out and still going to do my yoga all the time. But it's still... And I got to a point, and it was really bothering me. Like, I was really starting to feel like, like I wasn't me. It didn't feel good. I didn't feel good.
Sure.
And so I made a decision, and I said to myself, Suzanne, this is where you are right now. It doesn't matter,
Accept yourself.
Just accept this is how it is right now. Yeah. And, eventually... Or not.
It'll
because
fall off
as you get older and as the hormones start to kick up, then it may or may not. And I'm not even worried about it anymore.
Right. No, that's a beautiful. I mean, I love that, and that's such a beautiful place to be. If you you're not going to lose weight or change anything if you're angry at your body.
Yes.
Like, you have to love yourself, and that loving ourselves is what allows you to say, you know what, I love myself too much to have this extra glass of wine.
Right.
I love myself too much to have the dessert, or I love myself too much to not go walking today.
Right.
So it's only the self-love that's going to allow you to change anything in a positive way.
Right.
When you're beating the crap out of yourself, you're like, I'm fat anyway, I hate myself, let me eat more, and who cares, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that the self-talk is so important. I mean, I don't think we realize enough how much we're telling ourselves how much we hate ourselves. You know? It's
like nails on a chalkboard to me now, because I think it's the cruelest thing we do to ourselves. Like, when I'm out and I hear women, oh, I'm so fat, oh, I'm so ugly, oh, I'm so... It's like, it literally, I feel like it hurts my heart, because... you're so shortchanging yourself, basing yourself on one, like, you're 18 things and you're looking at one aspect. It's like looking at your finger and being like, look at this finger. Yeah. You know, it's just not, it's not important. But it just really breaks my heart, because I don't think people realize how much pain they're inflicting and how much they're setting themselves up for so much other negative stuff when they're in that mode of just putting themselves down and that self-loathing. Yeah. And guess what? We're all, I mean, I'm 47. I think you're a little younger than me, like
45.
45.
Yeah. I'll be 46 in a month.
She just tossed that
but
out
I am
there.
so much younger now.
She's like, oh yeah, 45. She was like, oh yeah, I'm younger than you. Yes, I am. So
June 1st, I'll be 46. That's my birthday. If you want to give me a gift,
she'll be 46, which is 1 year. Thank you, because I'm not going to turn 48. So. But the thing about it is, when you reach a certain age, you realize, like, stuff is not going back to where it was before the babies. And, like, stuff
I know.
Is not...
It's like I see people post these Throwback Thursday pictures. That's like a thing on social media, you know, the hashtag TBT, Throwback Thursday. And I'm like, and they're like, you know, oh, this was when I was so hot. And it's like, no, you know, you're still hot.
Yeah.
That
was actually when you were really dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Think of all the stupid things you did back then, you know? Now you're like wise. You're so much wiser. You're so much smarter, you know? And it's true. Like, I look back on my younger self, and even though, yes, I had a hot body and my boobs were really perky, you know, back then it was like, I was so dumb.
I will tell you a little secret. This is so true, and I think it's a tool, actually, for how to get around this. So I've been a dancer my whole life, and country line dancing became my passion. And, like, I think I was like 18, 19, and my mom started, actually. Right. And she drugged me with her, and I ended up loving it, and I went all the time for years and years. I haven't been in a couple years, but it was my passion for years. And so there was a time, having been a dancer, that at like 24, where I'd be on the dance floor, and there'd be like rows of people watching the dancers, and people would be looking down, and I'd be like, yeah, you're looking at me. And there'd be people, sometimes people come up after and they'd be like, you're a really good dancer, and I'd be like, thanks, right? And then it was like, I was 44, and I'm out there, and I'm like, oh, yeah, and then I go like this, I turn around, and the girl behind me is like a size 2, blonde, boobs, red lips, and I'm like, he's not looking at me. So, but what I would say to myself is, but that's fine, keep looking at her, because she doesn't even know what to do with you. Right. She doesn't have any brains in her head right now. Right. She, you know, she has no life experience, so go right ahead, you know. But it was like, because it's a trade-off, right? Yeah. So what we had back then, we don't have anymore, but we also have life experience, wisdom, grace, like so many other things. So that's important to look at. But there's my little secret. And
I feel like the body issues are not. There's no age limit to when you have body issues, because I have friends who are in their 20s who have serious body struggles, and then friends my age who have serious body struggles, and so. You know, I think that I think there's no. I don't think that even if when you were hot, quote unquote hot, you know, that you don't have body issues. And I feel like mine were worse when I was younger.
I don't think you even knew you were hot until you're 40, looking at the 20-year, looking at the throwback picture. Those are the only times people say they were hot, is in comparison to when they're 40 and 50. Like, wow, I really was thin then. Because in their 20s, they're typically the most miserable. Right. And we do tend to, as we get older, accept more. Right. Right. But here's what I agree with what you're saying, and I think, again, tool number 2 is, no matter what age, weight, whatever you are, you have to make a decision to fall in love with yourself. Yeah. And whatever age you decide to do that is the age you're going to do that, and it doesn't matter. It's not something that happens. I think young people might think, well, when I'm 30, I'll feel confident. No, you won't. If you don't do those techniques of positive affirmations, like one of the things I tell people, if you hate your body, when you wake up in the morning, go in the shower and you're completely naked, look in the mirror and pick your favorite body part and make a statement about that. Like, wow, I love that my arms are so shapely and they're muscular, you know, and then the next day pick another body part. People are like, I only have one. No, you've got to pick one. I love my eyes. Right. I love my eyebrow. Like, pick something every single day to fall in love with, right?
I love my brain.
Yeah.
I love my, you know.
Yeah, I love my voice.
I love, and it doesn't have to be something physical.
But it's about body image, so
it kind of
does.
It kind of does. It does.
And so, because when you're working
I'm going to run out of body parts really quick. Can I pick something else?
I like this
my
tooth
drive,
right
my passion.
This tooth right here is my favorite. I love the way it's shaped.
Okay, so
one
it's gotta
at a
be
time.
physical.
Right?
Got
It has to be because you're hating your body.
Yeah, and here's the other thing I will say. You know, having a daughter, they are paying attention to you. You know, they are paying attention to you. And so I think, you know, if you are a mom and you have specifically a daughter, like how you speak about yourself and to yourself. And that's why, you know, when I left CBS 12 and I was talking about, oh my gosh, I've gained so much weight. And I would say that in front of my kids, you know, and then all of a sudden they started saying stuff back to me like, Mom, are you going on that diet? Or and I was like, you know, I need to watch what I'm saying around them because they're listening. And I don't want my daughter to think that she's not enough. That she's not enough. That it has to do with, you know, how much you weigh.
Yeah, it's so true. They are little baby ducklings, and especially girls are following mama. Yeah. And boys are following daddy. Right. And it's just the way, because you're going to show me what it's like to be a man, and you're going to show me what it's like to be a woman. So please, that is the most important thing that we've said so far. Right. If you have girls in the house, whatever you're saying, they are going to be saying. Right. So if you want your daughter, so there's an encouragement for you to change. If you want your daughter to love herself, you have to love her. You can't love your daughter and hate yourself and have her love herself. Yeah.
You know the interesting thing, and come in because you're getting out of the shot.
I want to talk to you.
You're slowly.
Oh, we're talking to you? I was talking to Suzanne.
I'm like, she's not even in the video anymore. No, but the other thing that I think is really the loving yourself thing. Like, I think that piece is really hard for a lot of people to grasp because, you know, and what does that look like? Other than, you know, picking the body part when you're in the shower, she doesn't like that when she rolled her eyes. She's not going to do it.
I
don't know. Because my mirror's not right in front of my shower. I would have to, like, literally get out of the shower and look in the mirror, and I don't think I want to do that.
So this is, so ask the question again.
Okay. So what are some other techniques to do to help love yourself? Like,
so, I mean, love it or like it or don't like it. So the first thing is you have to stop the negative self-talk. Yeah. So if you don't want to say the positive things, okay, but you have to stop. So one of the things I do, we all have these fun little hair bands now. I have these little fun scrunchies, whatever, that are like, I don't know. But anyway, you put a hairband on your arm, and every time you're like, oh my God, I'm so fat, you pop the hairband so that it kind of stings a little bit. I'm not talking about like slicing your arm open, but so that it pops a little bit. And then you have to at least see the stop sign. I like to see the stop sign and replace it with a positive thought. Now you can replace it with, I'm really smart, but you have to replace the negative with a positive, and you have to stop saying the negative. Yeah. Computer data entry, input equals output. If you put in that you're awful and you're ugly, you're going to feel awful and feel ugly, and there's no getting around that. So that's the first one. Obviously, new data input information is really, really important. I think that how many times do you just stand in the mirror and look at yourself? Like, really look at yourself.
I mean, like, when I have an outfit on and I'm deciding whether I like that outfit or no. Yeah, no. Yeah.
So here's my challenge for all of you guys.
I'm looking at myself right now.
But upon what you're asking, I challenge you guys, get up in the morning, take off all your clothes. You're naked. Stand in front of the mirror, and don't stand in front of the mirror and curl your hair. Stand in front of the mirror and do your eyeliner and your makeup. Stand in front of the mirror and brush your teeth, because you're not, I bet you $50, you couldn't even tell me where a freckle was at that point, because you're not looking.
Yeah.
We don't even look at ourselves. So when you're talking about body image and falling in love with your body and accepting your body, you need to look at your body. And I'll tell you why this is like choking me up a little bit and resonating for me is because I am not one of those people who alters their body a lot, right? So I don't Botox and I don't filler lips and I don't do a lot of stuff to myself. And so, but I do have pretty good self-esteem, and I've always kind of accepted myself and been good at that. So I thought, and then recently I made a decision to remove my breast implants. So that was definitely an alteration after kids. I was fine up until I had kids, and I was fine nursing my kids. I was great when I was nursing my kids. And then after I stopped nursing my kids, I looked like the wall behind me, straight up and down with 2 dots. And I decided to go reconstruct. And so I didn't spend a lot of time looking at myself. I was fine. Everything kind of was where it needed to be, and I was pretty happy with myself. Recently, I chose to remove my breast implants. And upon doing that, you know, and then I went in and was cut from, you know, my scars are this big on each side. And so I'm looking in the mirror for maybe the first time in a long time. And
but are you looking at the scars?
I'm looking at all of it because I have had a loss. Yeah. And I've had to say goodbye to a part of myself. So I'm looking to see, did they get perkier today? Did they fluff? Everybody said they would fluff. I don't know what that means. They're not fluffing. I'm waiting for them to fluff, and they're not fluffing. And so I've been looking for all kinds of fun reasons and waiting for something to happen, and it's not happening. But what is happening is that I'm accepting them. And I'm starting to go, they're cute. I like how little they are. They make the rest of me look kind of little, you know. And I'm looking at myself. So that is a tool. Look at yourself. Oh, pops up. Why should I? I'm so fat. Stop. See the stop sign? I'm really smart. Replace that. My boobs are so gross. Stop. They are what they are.
You know, and it's not even just the negative self-talk too, but I think also when someone is giving you a compliment, that you accept it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have to just
That
say
is the
thank
only
you.
response to someone saying something nice to you.
Right.
Not, no, oh my God,
you should
this
see them up
thing.
close. They're
awful.
awful.
Oh my God, yeah, my boobs are not good. Yeah.
This is all padding.
Right.
This isn't even, there's nothing here.
Right. It's just, thank you. Yep. It's like, what's a complete sentence? No is a complete sentence, and thank you is a complete sentence.
No, it's really true, because then you're not allowing that negative striation in the brain, that neural pathway to get created where you're like, oh my God, if you could only see, Suzanne, there's nothing here, it's awful. Oh. Right. So not allowing that neural pathway to get created, because that's another piece of this is and I am not a doctor and I don't even play one on TV, but there are these neural pathways that are created in our brain, and we do them, we call it a habit. If we do something for 90 days, we create these pattern and pathways in our brain. And so if you get into the negative self-talk, that's a pathway. And if you stop it, the pathway will go away over time. And so I have to be honest, knock on wood, I really don't think of a lot of negative stuff about myself, because I haven't done it. I've seen the stop sign for so long that it just isn't a pathway anymore. Like it doesn't come up really. Right. So it will, you'll remove that neural pathway, and then you create new neural pathways, new hobbies, new skills, new affirmations, create new neural pathways.
You know, and what's also coming up for me is self-care. I think that is another really good way to kind of deal with some of these body issues, is taking care of yourself. Like when you take care of yourself, whatever that looks like for you, whether that's, you know, for me it's yoga or meditation or
sleep,
you know, or sleep
8 hours.
Yeah. Or
water.
You know, whatever, not going out on a Thursday night and drinking
Lori.
tequila.
Lori. She says it's your fault.
Not staying out till midnight.
Midnight, Lori, really?
So, you know, those kind of things. Listen, none of us are perfect.
Her fault. She blamed you, though, just so you know.
Listen, I had body issues this morning after that. But just taking care of yourself, I really think also gives you that confidence and that security in who you are, and that, like, you know, my body can do amazing things, you know? I mean, I'm 45, and some of the yoga poses that I can do, I'm like, I'm pretty impressed with myself,
Yeah.
So yes, I may not be the weight that, my ideal weight, whatever the heck that is, but gosh, my body can do some pretty amazing things.
Yeah. And that, thank you. So that's another layer of confidence, is having confidence in your yoga and like what your body can do, and so for the people out there that like you, that are like, I'm not standing in front of a mirror, well, can you just add those positive expressions? Like, my body does amazing things. I'm really strong. Like, you may be like one of those people that's like really like bigger bone and really muscular, and you're a size 20, but you're fit and you're like, I'm strong, like being able to take that in and own the things that are yours. I recently saw this woman, and she was, she was a big woman, and she was solid muscle, and I just wanted to stop her and be like, wow, like, you're amazing, like, she was just amazing. And I bet you money she probably would have been like, well, no, but I need to lose weight, or I want it. But she was just strong, and she wasn't a size 2. She may have been a size 16 or 20 or whatever, but she was working out, she was fit, she was muscular. And so really admiring that stuff in ourselves that isn't necessarily just the weight. Yeah. The things that you do with your body.
Yeah. What if you have, and we kind of already talked about the kid angle, or the child angle, and especially daughters. Like, what if you have a daughter that is starting and it's so difficult now in this age of social media, just the things that they're seeing, about what the perfect body image is. Though I will tell you, it was bombarded with us when we were younger in the magazines. And so it's TV. Not like listen, it's just a different way of being bombarded. But yes, it is very different being on social media now. But how do you, when you start to see that stuff in your daughter, what's the best way to get them to really...
That one's so tough, and I knew where you were going with this question, and as you were asking, I was thinking, what did I do with Hannah? Because I have a daughter. I think a lot of it is, one of the things that I did that I'm questioning whether it was negative or positive, but I didn't focus a lot on her body. Yes. I focused a lot on other stuff. You're so smart. Yeah. You've got the best sense of humor. Did you draw that? Did you write that? That's an amazing poem. So I think, I don't want you to never say anything, because I think Hannah, I think, did interpret like, oh, I'm just not pretty. And it's like, oh my God, you're beautiful. Right. But I just never wanted to focus on the body. So I do think what I would say, learn from my mistake, because I think they can interpret or assume that they're not pretty if you never say that. But I would really balance that with the feedback you're giving about them. So when they come in and like, look at Susie, she has 700, like, she's so skinny and she's so this. And it's like, yeah, but so tell me about you, like, what do you like about yourself that's different than Susie? Like, I know Susie, you're really smart. Like, Susie's really pretty, but you're really smart, and like, as your mom, I'm really excited because you're beautiful, and you're going to get more beautiful by the day, but you're also very smart. Like, I think it's important to highlight for them all these you're really funny. You're a great friend. Like, it's not just about what we look like. I think we have to have those conversations with our kids of, hey, you're getting sucked into that lie. That's a lie. Your face is only, your face is going to look at mommy's face. She has wrinkles. She has this. Like, you're going to change over time, but nobody can take away your education, your smarts, you're funny, you're a good friend. So that is what I did with Hannah. It's built her.
That's funny, because that bothers me a lot when I hear people telling, there's a couple of people that do that a lot. That say to my daughter, like, oh, you're just getting so beautiful and that it doesn't bother me. I shouldn't say that, but that's the only compliment they ever have for her. Right. And it bothers me, because I'm like, she's so much more than just that. Right.
Right. So tell her about, oh my gosh, I saw your post the other day. That was really witty what you said. Or, you have a great sense of humor. You're such a good big sister. Look at how you're taking care of your brother. Right. So validating all the other pieces of who somebody is, I think. And then I think, again, I hate to say it to moms, but we are role modeling. Yeah. So if your whole thing is on your looks and you're upset about it, you're talking about it all the time, how about talking about, like, I'm really proud of myself that we got selected as keynote speakers.
Right.
That's pretty cool, you know? And being able to be proud of yourself for the other parts of you and not always focusing on your own looks.
Right.
Then your kids are like, yeah, you're smart and it matters, or you have an education, or, you know, these moms that go back to school when their kids are, that's so cool.
Yeah.
To role model, like, we can do hard things, like Glennon Doyle said, right? Like that you can go back to school at any age, that we can do hard stuff. So I think it's about role modeling that.
You know, and it's so funny. I think the other piece of this too is and not just for kids, but also for ourselves, is what we input. So I think, you know, if you're following, you know, every skinny Instagram model on Instagram, I think maybe you should unfollow some of those people, because that's just not something you need to be putting in your brain every single day when you're scrolling through your feed.
And putting that in your child. Like, well, but my mom, there's a line from one of my favorite movies, What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams. Did you ever see it? The premise of the movie basically is that the kids unfortunately pass away and everybody ends up in heaven together. And in heaven, they take on other forms. It's a spoiler alert, but it's a 20-year-old film, so don't get mad at me. I see you rolling your eyes at me like, why are you telling me the movie? Because it's 20 years old. But they get to come back in other forms, and it's the most beautiful scene in the movie where the father, Robin Williams, may he rest in peace, is with his daughter, and she's Asian, and he doesn't know that it's his daughter. And she's rowing, and she said, you know, I chose to come back as an Asian because my father used to talk about all the stewardesses and how the Asian women were so beautiful and how they were so elegant and demure. And I always wanted to be that for my dad, right? And it's like a double whammy. Like, she was a precious girl, but what she saw her dad admire was what impacted her, that she wasn't enough. She needed to be Asian and be demure and be, you know, so how powerful that is. So what you are drawn to, what you're looking at, what you're going, oh my gosh, Lane, this is so cool. Be mindful of that. Like, Lane, this is so cool. She invented this. Lane, she's so smart. Ooh, look at the book she wrote. Ooh, look at this new podcast. She's saying some fun things. So being able to show her that. You know?
Yeah, that's good advice. All right. Well, I think that was good. That was a good episode. I like that. It was 26 minutes long, too.
Look at that.
We could talk all day long about body issues. You know, there is one person that I will say to go follow if you're on Instagram, Jamila Jamil. She's an actress, and she has that. She has her own Instagram page, and then she has the I Weigh Instagram page. And I think I've told you about this before, where the entire page is people talking about what they weigh, and it's never about their weight. It's I weigh 2 kids. I weigh my own business. I weigh, you know, a healthy body. I weigh, you know, and so it's always talking about how much they weigh, but it's never about their weight. And I just think that's a really brilliant thing, because she's always about talking about body issues and how we just bombard, you know, young women
generations.
So,
and I think that, you know, what just popped up for me as you were talking about that is, and we've kind of said this, but I just want to say it in a different way, that your kids are listening. So like, share your stories, share your own experiences of when you were young. They're rolling their eyes, they're going to act like they're not listening, but they are listening. Because I was trying to think, like, a little bit ago, why am I not so hung up on looks? And I remember why. Because my grandmother was a beauty queen. My grandmother was one of the most beautiful women you've ever laid eyes on. She looked just like Marilyn Monroe. She had hazel green gray eyes and platinum blonde hair at 20. Her hair went prematurely gray. And she was a natural D. Right? Like, born with that. And had that little fun waist and had the most gorgeous Colgate white smile. And just was elegant, and the long dress. I mean, she walked into a room. My mom and I still joke. We went to a Keys trip. My mom was 45. We're 25 years apart. My mom was 40. I was like 15 or maybe 18, and she was 43, whatever. And then my grandmother was 60 something. The guys walked right past the two of us to my grandmother. We're like, really? What's up? I mean, but here's my grandmother's shtick. All of her eggs were in that basket. And she used to say to me all the time, do more for yourself. Your looks will fade, and you will feel like you have nothing, and you'll have no self-esteem. Invest more. Do something with your education. Invest in your personality. Invest in sports. Invest in something other than your looks, because those looks, they fade, and you will feel like a piece of crap, because that's what happened to her. As soon as she gained weight, went through menopause, now the whole world still thought she was beautiful, but she didn't feel it, because she didn't look like Marilyn Monroe anymore. Wow. And so, she had no self-esteem, and she taught me that. So your kids are listening. Tell the stories. Teach them. And they're going to roll their eyes and just ignore it. Just keep talking.
That's right. They roll their eyes all the time, especially at 13.
Yeah, they're supposed to. There's something wrong with them if they're not rolling their eyes.
Hey, don't forget to follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out go sign up for our mailing list too and get our email newsletters. We got to send out our full moon. Today's the full moon.
Today?
Or not today.
I thought you said it was yesterday.
This is gonna.
Oh yeah, we're messing people up. Yeah, you don't know what day it is.
Yeah, you don't. But go and sign up for our mailing list. It's on our website, WYFWTY.com.
And podcasts.
We're on podcasts. We're on Twitter, Instagram. We're everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere. We're pulling up quotes now. Steph is pulling up quotes that you and I say from some of our shows.
Oh, really?
And posting them on Instagram.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So I'll have to show you some of those. Those are fun.
These girls with their
We're
technology.
being quoted now.
Yeah, I can't even. That's so scary. Oh my God. Do we have to? Can we approve these?
Someone could Google Shannon Thompson Jones quotes and it'll pop up.
Oh my God. It'll go viral?
That's right.
Oh, that's crazy. That's scary. I want to approve these before I get.
I will. I'll let you
approve. Out there, the stupid stuff I say, and it's got a hashtag in front of it. That's scary stuff right there, folks.
Don't worry. We'll get your approval on all of them. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.